air pollution is not that bad. You guys need to stop pretending. What do you mean air pollution is not that bad? It's killing all the pandas, it's killing the environment, and it's killing us in the process as well. Oh my god. Oh my god, Sandy is literally like so annoying. Like, air pollution isn't even that bad. Anyways, let's see what's on TV. Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am Sammy Oliver with Random News Reports. Today we'll bring you the concerning issue that affects not just us, but also China's whole population and their national treasure, pandas. Why is air pollution and climate change so harmful and impactful? To find the effects of this, we have to not only study the present, but also the past. I'll be passing this to Sammy Lee, who is a scientist and specialist working with China's air quality, who will explain the biotic and abiotic effects and factors. Hey guys, thanks for having me on. To start, we need to take a trip to the past. Climate change around the 1970s has increased by a rate of 18% and 31% in the 1990s. The industrial cities were so heavily polluted that black smoke became the norm. Also, around the late 1970s, the total energy consumption has greatly increased by 571 million tons. The abiotic factors such as air composition and climate were significantly affected. Pollutants like carbon dioxide, nitrogen oxides, and sulfur dioxide and particulate matter altered the chemical composition of air quality. These emissions were responsible for the creation of smog, acid rain, and the ozone layer depletion. The air composition has been severely affected by China air pollution. The level of pollutants in the air have reached alarming levels in many Chinese cities. Air pollution has also significant implications for climate change. Greenhouse gas E921 emissions, such as carbon dioxide, contribute to global warming. According to the Global Carbon Atlas, China has been the world's largest emitter of CO2, primarily from the burning of fossil fuels. The study published in Nature Communications revealed that air pollution in China has impacted regional climate patterns. The presence of pollutants, particularly aerosols, can affect cloud formation, precipitation patterns, and the temperature regulations, leading to disturbances in the climate. Biotic life, for example, plants, animals, humans, and pandas, suffer the consequences of air pollution. Air pollution leads to the decline of plant life in urban areas, disturbing and upsetting the ecological balance, which is the state of dynamic equilibrium within a community of organisms. High levels of air pollution have also reduced the growth and productivity of crops, for example, wheat and soy. The global consumable calories have also decreased around 1% yearly, which doesn't seem like that much, but that's around 35 trillion calories each year. It affects photosynthesis by reducing the availability of sunlight and damages plant tissues.
So how exactly does air pollution affect giant pandas?
Well, I'm glad you asked. Because of air pollution, many of the coal emissions are released into the air, transferring to bamboo leaves, soil, and acid rain, killing off and infecting bamboo plants. As bamboo makes up 90% of pandas' diet, carbon emissions from the food transfer into their offspring, continuing the cycle and lowering their overall average population and lifespan. Without effective climate change mitigation, the giant panda's habitat could continue to decline due to increased deforestation and changes in vegetation patterns. Air pollution also leads to respiratory disease in pandas, similar to how humans can develop lung cancer because of smog. Because of air pollution, the panda's population has decreased about almost 50% in 1970 to 1980. Oh my god, that's crazy. I never knew how badly air pollution affected the environment, but I heard sometimes that animals can migrate to a different area. Pandas literally can't do that. If they could, they wouldn't be going extinct. Pandas' natural habitats are in south-central China, specifically the mountain ranges. They used to live in lowland areas too, but farming and urbanization drove them out. Because cities' roads block pandas' paths, they can't migrate to a more suitable habitat. Pandas also live on a diet of strictly bamboo, and they need a lot of it. Not every place they would migrate to would have that bamboo, especially considering how aforementioned acid rain and smog would pollute bamboo. Safe havens for pandas, as well as many other organisms in China, are shrinking more and more because of air pollution.
Okay, but I still don't get how these pandas' only option is to die.
Pandas' only other possible option is to adapt. That's when animals with traits more beneficial to survival will survive and reproduce more, until more of the population has those traits. In this case, pandas with more resistance to the effects of air pollution would become more common. However, this can't work because pandas reproduce really slow, way too slow to keep up with air pollution. Pandas can only start reproducing at around 6 years old. Even then, they only give birth to 2 babies a year, one of which usually dies in the wild. According to Smithsonian, a wild female, at best, can produce young only every other year. In a lifetime, a giant panda may successfully raise only 5 to 8 cubs.
What? How long do we even have until pandas are extinct?
Between 1977 and 1988, giant panda populations went from 2,459 to 1,114. So, if that trend continued, pandas would have been long dead by now. Thankfully, regulations and wildlife organizations have helped to restore and protect some of the giant pandas' habitat, as well as provide captive breeding. However, giant panda populations still aren't what they were. Currently, there's about 1,800 pandas, some of which are captively bred. Efforts to conserve and protect giant panda populations need to stay strong.
Air pollution has lasting effects on human health. Long-term exposure to air pollution has been linked to increased mortality rates, decreased lung function, higher incidence of respiratory and cardiovascular diseases, and according to Air Quality Index, many cities in China frequently exceed the World Health Organization's recommended level for air pollutants. By statistics, it's usually 3 times the average.
Team surveys and interviews, we can conclude that though many people are aware of this air pollution issue, the majority have no clear solution to this problem. However, most people agree one of the answers to this concern is for there to be stricter regulations and emission
laws. As China's GDP reaches second in the world, they now have the power, resources, and money to implicate stricter emission laws. They've already implicated some of these for industries, power plants, and vehicles, but further enforcing these standards along with regular monitoring and inspections is crucial to reducing air pollution. Strict emission standards enforces lower limits on pollutants ignited in the air, and this leads to decreased levels of these pollutants in the atmosphere, improving air quality and reducing the negative effects on abiotic components like air, water, and soil. Improved air quality resulting from strict emission standards also positively affect human health. Reduced exposure to pollutants can lower incidence of respiratory and cardiovascular diseases, and air pollution can have indirect impacts on biodiversity by degrading ecosystems and reducing food availability for certain species. Stricter emission standards can help maintain healthier habitats and food sources, supporting the preservation of biodiversity in China. The benefits are countless. It's us holding them back. And we know the solution will work well, as similar results can be seen in America, where when they implemented the Clean Air Act in the 1970s, according to the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, between 1970 and 2019, when they implicated this actually decreased the national emissions of 6 common emissions by 77%.
Wow, I never knew how air pollution could affect the animals and wildlife and also us. That is so crazy. I need to apologize, man. I can't do it.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize how big of an issue air pollution is.
It's okay. You can always help me fix it.
How?
Let's go and find out.